me sueltas? ¿Te sientes mejor? No.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's class. So today it's Sunday, November 26th, and we are on the last day of week number 6. We only have 2 weeks ahead, so that is always a great news. Just a friendly reminder, I'm going to start passing the attendance. So please, I need that your cameras, they need to be on, okay? So please, let's turn all of your cameras so I can start passing the attendance, and then we can start with the content of our class, okay? Andrea Molina, Marcela Villegas, Kevin Sánchez, Kevin Solís, Kevin Cruz, Elizabeth Ramírez, Analía Avilés, Kenia Miño, Yael Bernal, Justin Zamora, Camila Santa Cruz, Daniela Vélez. Please, your cameras, okay? So I can start sharing my screen and I can also pass attendance. Once again, Isabel Almeida, Camila Santa Cruz, Kevin Solís, Yael Vera, Daniela Vélez, Justin Zamora, Elizabeth Ramírez. Okay. Kevin Solís, Camila Santa Cruz, Elizabeth Ramirez. I'm waiting for you guys so I can start passing the attendance. Otherwise, I will not be able to start the class. Thank you very much. Okay, just as always, I would like to say that remember that in order to approve this level, as you can see right here, you need at least 17% of minimum attendance, right? You have access to this file, so you can double check right here what's the percentage of your attendance. If your percentage it's in orange and it's not in yellow, so it's because you have less than the minimum required attendance, okay? So you have to be careful with that. Now, I'm gonna start passing the attendance. So please, if you hear your name, let me know that you are there, saying hello, Good morning, here, hi. Let's avoid present, okay? That's why you have it right here, highlighted in red. So let's start with Yanela Acosta.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, Yanela. Please, Elizabeth Ramirez, your camera. Elizabeth, are you there? Can you hear me? I'm talking to you right now. Okay. Thank you very much. So you are there, and Daniela already told me that in 5 minutes she will turn the camera on. Okay. And Franz Almache. Isabel Almeida.
Here.
Thank you, Isabel. Mónica Añasco.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, Mónica. Judith Avilés.
Here.
Thank you, Judith. Diana Cañizares. Diana Cañizares. Elías Castillo. Elías Castillo. Paulette Castillo. Paulette Castillo. Juan Cedeño.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, Juan. Kevin Cruz.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kevin. Nancy Cruz.
Good morning, teacher.
Good morning, Nancy. Cristel Díaz.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, Cristel. Melanie Guarco.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, Melanie. Jorge Jara. Jorge Jara. Álvaro Lara.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, Álvaro. Jessica Lima. Jessica Lima. Kenia Miño.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, Kenia. Andrea Molina.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, Andrea. Dayana Moreno. Dayana Moreno. George Núñez.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, George. María de Los Ángeles Parra.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, María de Los Ángeles. Elizabeth Ramírez.
Good morning.
Good morning, Elizabeth. Byron Reyes.
Good morning, teacher.
Good morning, Byron. Cristel Saldarriaga.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, Cristel. Helen Romo.
Good morning, teacher.
Good morning, Helen. Sebastián Rodríguez.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, Sebastián. Gianna Sánchez.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, Gianna. Kevin Sánchez.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kevin. Camila Santa Cruz.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, Camila. Sandra Santín.
Good morning, teacher.
Good morning, Sandra. Ricardo Sobrevilla. Ricardo Sobrevilla.
Good morning, Miss.
Good
Miss, yo
morning.
tengo falta en las clases pasadas, pero sí estuve.
¿Te retiraste?
Pero,
Cuando pasé la lista.
pasó la lista después porque yo me retiré casi a las 11:30. Ah, ya, está bien.
Yes. Kevin Solís. Kevin
Pero-
Solís. Thank you, Kevin. Scarlett Takuri.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, Scarlett. Thank you. Omar Tomalá.
Teacher.
Good morning, Omar. Daniela Vélez.
Good morning, teacher present.
Good morning, Daniela. Yael Vera.
Hear me.
Thank you, Yael. Marcela Villegas.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, Marcela. María Llagos. María Llagos. Thank you, María. Aldair Zambrano. Aldair Zambrano. Justin Zamora.
Hi, good morning, Miss.
Morning,
Yes.
Justin. Thank you. Okay, guys. So right here in this file, you can also check the projects that you have previously been assigned, right? Right here, you have the name of the activity and the date of the activity. So if you deliver the activity, of course, you're gonna have your grade, right? But if you didn't, so you will have no grade, and that is why you see those spaces on red, okay? So remember that this is the grading category projects, that it has the percentage of 20, right? So you can also double check this right here. And I want to tell you something, because I was checking some of your projects related to the email travel arrangements, right? This one right here that was assigned on Saturday, November 11th, and you had until November 17th to deliver this. So I was checking some of your emails, and I want to show you something that probably this is gonna be helpful, because as you can see right here, this is Omar's assignment, right? This is pretty good. And you're gonna be able to see that it's not a big deal, right? He's not using big or fancy words. Take a look. He has the introduction, right? Dear Daniela. My recommendation, it will be that right here, instead of the full stop, you can use comma, right? But I mean, that is only a suggestion. I'm very happy to announce that we will travel with our friends to Cartagena. We have been planning this trip for months to be able to visit the beaches and tourist places. We will visit magnificent islands like la Isla de Barú or las Islas del Rosario. Notice something. Right here, Omar, it's not saying Barú Island or Rosario Island. You can just go with the name of the island in Spanish, because this is from Colombia. And the origin, like the language, it's Spanish, right? So it will be fine that you just go with La Isla de Barú. And we will stay in a magnificent hotel with breakfast buffet and comfortable rooms. I know we will have the best vacation of our life. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Sincerely, Omar. So that is it. If this will be Omar's writing exam, he will have 10, because this is good, right? Once again, as you can see, this is not like something from the New York Times. I'm not asking Charles Dickens to write this. I'm not asking J.K. Rowling to write this. No, it's not a big deal, okay? So great job, Omar. I was also checking, this is Monica's, right? So Monica, look, this is even shorter, but it's also good. Well, in this case, look, Monica, it's using the comma, right? This is the appropriate punctuation mark that you have to use after the dear and the name. I'm writing because I'm going on a trip next year to Michigan, capital letter, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you. I was wondering if I could stay at your house for as long as I'm there, and pass, okay? This is an expression that in English, in Spanish makes sense. Pasar tiempo juntos, right? But the correct way to say it in English is spend time together, like this. Spend time together, okay? This sounds better, okay? It's not that this is incorrect, but this is better, okay? Tengan mucho cuidado con las expresiones que utilizamos en español, no siempre funcionan en inglés, ¿verdad? Imagínense que ustedes quieran traducir, no hay mal que por bien no venga. Okay, that only works in Spanish. If you do that in English, people in English, it's going to look you weird, right? It's gonna like, what is you trying to say, right? So just keep that in mind. I know we are going to have an amazing time. Let me know if you agree. I hope to see you soon. Lots of love and kisses, Monica. Short, precise, and really good. So once again, if this will be Monica's writing exam, she will have 10, okay? So once again, I'm not asking like you go to ChatGPT or to Google Translate to just translate your text. No, you can write it by yourself with simple and basic words, okay? I just want to show you this because today we will also do an activity related to writing skills, okay? Now, let's go back and let's continue covering some of the content that we were covering yesterday. Remember that we were on Unit 5A, no time for anything. So I was telling you about the use of comparative adjective. Remember that an adjective, as you guys said, it's any word that you use to describe a noun. Big, tall, small. Okay, I can go on because there are tons of adjectives. But whenever we say comparative adjective, as you can see this word, it's like making contrast, right? So this is used to compare two things. That's it. To compare only two things, highlighting the differences in degree or in quality between them. So just imagine that you have two similar objects and you want to indicate that one possesses a higher or a lower degree of a certain feature, okay? So I was telling you about this example right here. I was saying that I am 33 years old, right? Andrea is 33 years old, and Monica is 41 years old. Right here, I don't have two objects, but two people. So it's also something that you can do with people. And I was telling you that this is the adjective, and right here, but basically highlighting the difference of age between Andrea and Monica. Andrea is younger than Monica. And I can also say that Monica is older than Andrea. Okay, so that is basically what you have to keep in mind. And this is the suggest structure. You go with the object or the people or the person plus the verb to be. Right here, we will be using the verb to be, either am, is, or are, plus the adjective, and that adjective will have to have the ending er in some of the cases, plus than, plus subject to. And this is the example I told you. Lionel Messi is faster than Cristiano Ronaldo. Now you have to keep in mind that, of course, we have some structure that we have to follow, right? In most of the two-syllable adjective, we will add er as these examples right here. Easy, easier than. Fácil, más fácil que. Fast, faster than. Más rápido que. Fat, fatter than. Más gordo que. Happy, happier than. Más feliz que. Tall, taller than. Más alto que. Okay, so right here, you have some of the rules that you can consider, right? Take a look. Whenever you have the Y at the end, probably you already know this, you have to replace the Y with an I. So you don't say prettier, right? That is not correct. You have to, in this case, delete the Y and replace it with an I, okay? And another thing, and this is important that you consider this, is that in some of the adjective that have 2 syllables or more, you will go with more boring, more difficult. You will have to write the whole word, okay? And you have some irregular adjective as well. So for good, you don't say gooder, you say better. For bad, you don't say better, you say worse. For far, right here, you have 2 options, okay? Let me tell you why you have this right here. This is like a warning, right? Because farther, it's American English. And further is, of course, British English. Once again, both of them are completely valid. So if you use any of them, you are going to be fine, okay? Now, yesterday you developed some activities related to this, okay? Right now, we will do an activity also related with the use of comparative adjective. Right here, you have this chart, this explanation, if you want to double check it. So let's see, let's do this one right here. You already did this one right here. We will go with Grammar Bank 1A. So please click into the activity Grammar Bank 1A so we can do this one right here. Okay, whenever you see this, right, you can say plus, okay? So I'm going to ask Justin, please, your camera. Justin, can you please read the instruction?
Grammar Bank 1A. Write sentence with a
Yes, there's a spelling mistake. It's comparative right here instead of the yes, correct. Go ahead. Go ahead with
adjective or adverb.
plus.
That.
Correct. Thank you very much, Justin. Okay, guys. So right here, take a look of what you have. The first one, it's already been done, right? This is like an example. You have New York and the adjective is expensive. So since you have expensive, 3-syllable word, of course that you don't go with expensive year. No, that doesn't make sense. So you go with more expensive. So right now you will have to identify what is the correct way to go with each of these adjectives. Either if you have to go with more, either if you have to add ER or so on, okay?
Miss, ¿esa cuál unidad es?
That is 5A.
Okay.
5A activity Grammar Bank 1A. Okay, guys, so somebody, I think that, okay, it was just. Andrea Molina.
Yes, Miss.
Andrea, this is gonna be like the last time for everyone that I'm gonna say this, okay? I'm just keep this in mind that this is not me trying to be annoying. As you can see, this is being like the whole time, this has been like recording, right? And this is not only watching by me, this is being watched also by the director of La Academia de Idiomas, by the coordinator. And as you can see, this is also on YouTube. So that is why I need that you guys be on your camera, okay? And I'm going to be completely honest. This is gonna be the last time that I'm going to call either of your names saying, please turn off your camera. The next time I won't be calling any names. The only thing that I will do is that I will remove you from the class, okay? Because I know that it's being annoying that I keep saying this. So in order to have like a calm and a relaxed class, that is the action that I will take, okay? So I do have some volunteers. Camila Santa Cruz, can you please read sentence number 1?
Modern computers are much faster than early ones.
Correct, much faster. Right here, the right way to spell this is just adding the ER. No T, no. Faster than. Thank you very much, Camila Santa Cruz. Let's continue with Jael Vera, number 2, please.
My sister is taller than me.
Correct, taller. Only we add ER, than me. There you go, Jael. Thank you very much. Number 3, Helen Romo.
I'm busier this week that last week.
Correct. Question, Helen, how would you spell busier?
B U S I E R.
Correct. Great job. So because we have busy, right? Remember that whenever we see the letter Y, we are going to be changing this with an I, right? So great catch, Helen. Thank you very much. Juan Cedeño, number 4, please.
Newcastle is further from London than Leeds.
Correct. So in this case, since the type of English we are learning, it's British English, we are going to go with further. Even though, remember, you can also go with farther, but right here in the Moodle platform, you will go with further. Thank you very much, Juan. Monica, number 5, please.
I thought the third man in Blackfield was worse than the first.
Correct. So this is an irregular adjective, right? We don't say better, we say worse. Great catch, Monica. Thank you very much. Gianna Sanchez, number 6, please.
Manchester United played well than Arsenal.
Manchester United, so right here.
Better.
Yes, correct.
Better than.
Well, is whenever you say, Jana, you did it well, right? But in this case, it's not. So great catch. You got your mistake and you corrected. Amazing. Thank you very much. Number 7, let's go with Elizabeth Ramirez. Elizabeth?
The French exam was
Mhm.
harder
Yes.
harder than
Other than the German, okay? Do not forget, never forget the than, right? You always have to go with than, okay? That is something that you have to keep in mind. Thank you, Elizabeth. Let me. No, Maria Llagos, number 8, please.
My nail is more boring.
More boring. Continue. Maria, can you please continue with the rest of the sentence?
My own one.
Okay, but right here, do not forget about the than. More boring than my old one. Now, let's continue with number 9. Melanie Huarco.
My new apartment is bigger than my old one.
Correct, it's bigger. And right here, since we have consonant, vowel, consonant, we double the consonant and then we add ER. Thank you very much. Let's continue with Justin Zamora, number 10, please.
I am not lazy. I just work. You slowly dance.
Okay, can you please repeat the answer?
Slowly dance.
Okay, so this is one of the cases that we don't go with. Look, even it's not right here. In the case of a slowly, even though it will make sense, right? Because you have slowly, right? 2 syllables basically. But in this case, we don't say a slowlier. That is incorrect, okay? You go with more slowly than.
Yes. Ah, okay.
Yes, correct. I mean, once again, it will make sense, the answer that you are giving, I mean, the answer that you gave to us. It makes sense. But in this particular case, we go with more slow. Okay, thank you very much, Justin. So please, guys, check your answers so you can register each of them in the correct way. Now, let's see and let's go with the next activity that is also related to this. Please do not open the activity yet because I'm going to tell you another way that you have to compare 2 objects, 2 places, 2 people, okay? This is the same thing. This is a still comparative adjective, but this is another structure, okay? So take a look. We use as, let me highlight this. We use as plus adjective plus as, let me highlight this as well, to make comparison when 2 things we are comparing are equal in some ways. So this kind of comparison, the one that we just checked, is to say that somebody has even better qualities or better features than the other object. But in this case, when we use as, adjective as, is to say that both of those objects are equally good, equally big. Okay, let's take a look so you can have a better understanding on this. Take a look. These 2 cars are almost the same size, right? Take a look. So we're saying that car A is, verb to be, as big as car B. El carro A es tan grande como es el carro B. Yo no estoy diciendo que uno tiene más cualidades, más características que otro. Exactly the same. So in this situation, we will have an structure as well. We will be using object, place, or person one, plus the verb to be, is, are, or am, plus as, plus the adjective. Look, the adjective is no bigger, is no, like you don't have to add er. Is the base form of the adjective, the original form of the adjective. Then you go with as, and then you go with object number 2. So take a look. Cristiano is as good as Lionel. I'm not saying that Cristiano is better than Lionel. I'm saying that they are on the same level. I don't know if that is true, that this is only an example. So notice that we use the adjective in the original form. We don't change it. Of course, we can do this in a negative form as well, right? We can use not as, adjective as. So take a look. Car A is not as big as car B. Take a look, because right here, of course, you can clearly see that car B is bigger, right? So right here, you either have two options. You can say car B is bigger than car A, but you can also go with this type of comparison, right? You can say that car A is not as big as car B. You can also say car B is not as small as car A, okay? You can go with any of these structures. All of them are going to be correct, okay? Let's see another example. Ping pong is not as popular as soccer, okay? So let's, this is all theory. This is a lot of explanation. I think that the best way to do this and to have a better understanding is to practice this, okay? So let's go with Grammar Bank 1B, this one right here. Okay, please guys, do not go with the activities if I don't tell you to start the activity, okay? Paulette Castillo, can you please read the instruction?
Grammar Bank 1B. Rewrite the sentence so they mean the same. Use as, espacios.
Yes, thank you very much. Great pronunciation, Paulette. Thank you very much. So right here, take a look, right? You have an example. So you have Jane is stronger than Clive. Clive isn't as strong as Jane. Okay, so let me go with the first, right? Take a look. You have Adam is shorter than Jerry. So right here, I'm referring that Jerry, right? And you have isn't, and you can go as short as Adam, right? So notice the examples. Once again, this is the first sentence that you have. James is stronger than Clyde. Right here, I'm using the comparative adjective. The first one is the first structure that we check, and this is the second one. Clive isn't as strong as Jane. So same thing right here. I'm telling you, Adam is shorter than Jerry. Jerry isn't as short. We go with the adjective in the original form as Adam. So I do have some volunteers. Let me just check. Camila Santa Cruz, how would you go with number 2?
My bag isn't as light as yours.
Correct. Great job. My bag isn't as nice as yours. Helen Romo, what about number 3?
London isn't as big as Tokyo.
Correct. London isn't as big as Tokyo. Do not forget the capital letter, guys. Otherwise, it's not gonna be okay. Kenya Miño, number 4, please.
Cricket isn't as popular as tennis.
Correct. As popular as tennis. Double N right here. Let's continue with Melanie Huarco, number 5, Melanie.
Adults don't learn language as fast as children.
Correct. As fast as children. Correct. Great catch, Melanie. Jael, number 6. Jael Vera. I don't know if you're speaking, but I cannot hear you. Jael? You wanna go with the next one? Okay, just take a look, right? The original adjective right here, it's hard, okay? Just go with that. And then you have the verb. So you don't, which one do you think is the next word?
Word.
Correct.
Word.
Look at this structure.
As.
Correct.
As. Harder.
Remember, Jael, that right here, we use the original adjective. We don't go with faster, we go with fast. We don't go with more popular, we go with popular. So right here, you have to go with the original form of the adjective. You don't work as hard as
you.
As me. As me, yes. Because notice that right here I'm saying, Jael, I work harder than you, right? So because of that, I'm gonna change the roles. And I'm gonna say, you, Jael, don't work hard as me. Okay, that's why we change the roles. Thank you, Jael. And finally, number 7, Juan Cedeño.
France didn't play as good as England.
Okay, in this one right here, I'm gonna tell you something. Play as good as England. Now, right here, we remember that we were checking about this particular topic. Let me scroll up right here, right? We were talking about adjective and adverbs. And remember that if I say, for example, one is a good player, right? A good soccer player. Right here, I'm referring to how Juan is doing things, right? But if I talk about Juan plays soccer well. Right here, I'm referring on how is the ability of playing of Juan. So because of that, I'm going to use the adverb. It's going to be the same right here. I'm talking about how France play. So because of that, we don't use good. Which one do you think we use, Juan?
Well.
Correct, okay? This was a tricky one because we already checked this content, and probably right now you forget about that. You were focusing only on this, but just try to keep this in mind. Okay, great catch, Juan. Thank you very much. Okay, so guys, please just double check the
Miss,
Camila.
the word tennis has to be with capital letter.
With capital letter. Okay, let me just double check. No, precisely. In this case, is with capital letter because it's at the beginning of the sentence. But whenever we have an sport, it's not mandatory that we write it with capital letter. In the case of Tokyo, yes, capital letter. In the case of Adam, capital letter as well. And England, capital letter as well. Thank you anyway, Camila. Okay, let's go to the next activity, guys. Okay, the next activity that we will develop, give me a second, is this one right here. Write the missing word into the listening part, okay? So please click activity 5A. And I'm going to ask to Kevin, can you please read the instruction for this activity?
Who, Kevin?
You, Kevin Cruz.
Oh, okay. You're going to listen to an expert talking about how to live your life more slowly. Look at her 5 main tips. Good idea. Write the missing words.
Correct. Thank you very much. Great catch on how to live your life, right? Great pronunciation. So right now, as just Kevin just read the instruction, right? So you, as I already told you, the right way to do the listening activities is, first of all, go with the answers, okay? So listen, you have whatever you're doing, just try to, you have 2 words right here, and enjoy it. Number 2, make a list of 3 things which are 2 words for you. Number 3, don't try to do 2 words missing at the same time. Number 4, sit down and do 1 word for half an hour every day. And finally, you have be near and only 1 word, okay? So now the first time you are just going to listen the audio, okay? Don't write down anything yet. Just listen to the whole audio and try to understand as much as you can. Remember that whenever you are hearing an audio, listening an audio, it's not important that you understand every single word. As long as you are understanding the context, the situation, what is happening, you are going to be fine. Okay, so let's hear the audio.
2.42.
Today we talk to Laurel Rees, who's writing a book about how to live more slowly. She's going to give us 5 useful tips.
My first tip is something which is very simple to say but more difficult to do in practice. Whatever you're doing, just try to slow down and enjoy it. If you are walking somewhere, try to walk more slowly. If you're driving, make yourself drive more slowly. It doesn't matter what you're doing, cooking, having a shower, exercising in the gym. Just slow down and really enjoy the moment. We all try to do too many things that we just don't have time for. So my second tip is make a list of the 3 things which are most important for you, your priorities in life. Then when you've made your list, make sure that you spend time doing those things. Imagine, for example, that your 3 things are your family, reading, and playing sports. Then make sure that you spend enough time with your family, that you have space in your life for reading, and that you have time to do sports. And forget about trying to do other things that you haven't got time for. Tip number 3 is don't try to do 2 things at the same time. The worst thing you can do is to multitask. So, for example, don't read your emails while you're talking to a friend on the phone. If you do that, you aren't really focusing on your emails or your friend, and you aren't going to feel very relaxed either. Tip number 4 is very simple. Once a day, every day, sit down and do nothing for half an hour. For example, go to a cafe and sit outside, or go to a park and sit on a bench. Turn off your phone so that nobody can contact you, and then just sit and watch the world go by. This will really help you to slow down. Okay, my 5th and final tip. One of the most relaxing things you can do is to be near water, or even better, to be on water. So if you live near a lake or river, go and sit by the river or go boating. If you live near the sea, go and sit on the beach, relax, and listen to the sound of the wind and the water. You will feel your body and mind slowing down as the minutes go past.
Okay, now that you guys heard the whole audio, right now let's try to find out the answers for each of those gaps, okay? So please, if you know the answer, I'm going to play the part where you are supposed to hear each of this, okay?
2.42.
Today we talk to Laurel Rees, who's writing a book about how to live more slowly. She's going to give us 5 useful tips.
My first tip is something which is very simple to say but more difficult to do in practice. Whatever you're doing, just try to slow down and enjoy it.
Okay, Nancy, can you please tell me the answer for this? Can you please read the whole sentence?
Okay. Whatever you are doing, you try to slow down and enjoy it.
Correct. Slow down, right? That is whenever you are trying not to go fast, but the expression, it's a slow down, okay? Great catch, Nancy. Thank you very much. Let's continue with number 2, okay?
If you are walking somewhere, try to walk more slowly. If you're driving, make yourself drive more slowly. It doesn't matter what you're doing, cooking, having a shower, exercising in the gym. Just slow down and really enjoy the moment. We all try to do too many things that we just don't have time for. So my second tip is make a list of the 3 things which are most important for you, your priorities in life.
Okay, Diana Sanchez, can you please read the whole sentence, number 2?
Make a list of 3 things which are more important for you.
Okay, right here, we're talking about important, right? And I'm gonna tell you something. This is an honest mistake. Esto es un error totalmente válido, porque aquí Diana me está diciendo more, ¿verdad? Que es lo que nosotros estamos viendo. Pero el siguiente tema, que no lo hemos visto aún, es esto de acá. Most important. This is superlative adjective, okay? We are about to cover this content, right? But right here, it's most important for you. I'm gonna tell you what. Take a look. Make a list of the 3 things which are most important for you. Remember that we use more to compare 2 things. So right here, it wouldn't be appropriate to say more important, okay? Once again, in just like 5 minutes, we are going to cover this topic, and then you will be able to understand this in a better way. Okay, great catch, Diana. Thank you very much. Let's continue with number 3, Maria de los Ángeles Parra. Can you, okay, no, I'm sorry. Let me play the audio.
Then when you've made your list, make sure that you spend time doing those things. Imagine, for example, that your 3 things are your family, reading, and playing sports. Then make sure that you spend enough time with your family, that you have space in your life for reading, and that you have time to do sports. And forget about trying to do other things that you haven't got time for. Tip number 3 is don't try to do 2 things at the same time.
Okay, Maria de los Ángeles Parra, what, can you please read the whole sentence?
Don't try to do 2 things at the same time.
Correct. 2 things at the same time. Thank you very much, Maria de los Ángeles. Great catch. Let's continue listening the rest of
The worst thing you can do is to multitask. So, for example, don't read your emails while you're talking to a friend on the phone. If you do that, you aren't really focusing on your emails or your friend, and you aren't going to feel very relaxed either. Tip number 4 is very simple. Once a day, every day, sit down and do nothing for half an hour. For example,
Okay, so Cristel, can you please read number 4?
Okay, sit down and do nothing for half an hour every day.
Correct, and do nothing. Thank you very much. Cristel?
go to a cafe and sit outside, or go to a park and sit on a bench. Turn off your phone so that nobody can contact you, and then just sit and watch the world go by. This will really help you to slow down. Okay, my 5th and final tip. One of the most relaxing things you can do is to be near water, or even better, to be on water. So if you live near a lake or river, go and sit by the river or go boating. If you live near the sea, go and sit on the beach, relax, and listen to the sound of the wind and the water. You will feel your body and mind slowing down as the minutes go past.
Okay, Scarlett, can you please read number 5?
Be near water.
Be near water, correct. Water. Okay, guys. So then we are concluding this unit. And right now, remember that I told you that we are supposed to cover another topic. Let's go with that topic, okay? So remember that right here, we were talking about basically comparing two things, right? So let me tell you something before we go into this explanation. First of all, let's go to our book, and I'm going to ask Nancy Cruz, can you please read the title of Unit 5B?
Superlative cities.
Superlative cities, correct. Thank you very much, Nancy. So also, Nancy, I'm going to read the question and you will read the answer, okay? So Nancy, what did you think of Rio?
It's the most beautiful city I've even been to. Ever been.
Correct, ever been to. Great pronunciation of beautiful, because that is a tricky word. Amazing. So let's see the content on this unit. And this is what I was mentioning to Diana, right? So right here we have in the grammar section, superlative, right? That this is like basically link to comparative adjective. And you're gonna be able to see that they are similar. Into the vocabulary section, we are going to cover vocabulary about describing town or cities. And into the pronunciation section, we will check word and sentence stress. So let's go with the first activity. Okay, let's go with the first activity. So after that, I can tell you about the explanation of the grammar section. Okay, remember 5B, superlative cities. So right here, we will go to activity 1A. Ricardo Sobrevilla, can you please read the instruction of this activity?
Match the photo and cities which Europe country are the cities in. What do you know about them? Have you been to any of them?
Thank you very much, Ricardo. So right here we have European, okay? Those are all of the cities from Europe, right? London, Sweden, Swiss, like we can keep going on and going on. So right here, you have different pictures and you have these different names, right? You have Barcelona, you have Copenhagen, Dublin, Paris, no Paris, Paris is in Spanish, in English it's Paris, like Paris Hilton, right? Like the celebrity, and Venice. So just take a look of each of the pictures. I'm going to give you 2 minutes for this, and you are going to tell me which one do you think match with each picture, okay? Listen again, the pronunciation. Barcelona, Copenhagen, Dublin, Paris, Venice, okay? Let's have 2 minutes to think this through. Okay, once again, before you go with the answer, remember the pronunciation. Barcelona, Copenhagen, Dublin, right? The syllable stress goes in the first one, Dublin. In Spanish, it's Dublin, but in English, Dublin. Same thing, Paris, Paris, Venice, Venice, okay? So, Dayana Moreno, picture number 1. Which country do you think is the matching with this one right here? Okay, let's go with number 2. Okay, I think that this is an easy one. Which country do you think match with picture number 2?
Venecia?
Yes, but it's not Venecia. I just said the
Two is Copenhagen.
Copenhagen.
Two. Number 2.
Okay, okay. Once again, you're saying Copenhagen number 2. Okay, yes. And number 1, it's actually Venice. Okay. Look, this is kind of tricky because for me, this is Venice. What do you guys think? For me, this is Venice. Saben que para mí, esta es Venecia y esta es Copenhague. Sin embargo, el muro lo pone de esta manera. Pero, okay, let's just leave it right there, okay? Let's see, Byron Reyes, number 3. Which country do you think match the picture number 3?
Barcelona.
Byron, I cannot see your face.
Sí, estoy pensando cuál es. Este es.
No. I cannot see your face at all. You are doing this. And I need to see your face. As you can see, look, I can see Camila's face, Kevin's, Daniela's, Paulette. So I need to see your face, okay? Okay, so picture
Sí, creo
number
que
3.
Barcelona mismo.
Okay, thank you, Byron. Let's continue with Sebastián Rodriguez. Picture number 4. Which one do you think it is?
Paris.
It's Paris. You think it's Paris? You know, this is messed up. Like the whole activity is messed up, okay? Toda la actividad está totalmente mal configurada, ¿no? Porque en la
Digo que está mal.
Sí.
La 5 la tomo como París.
Correct.
Y la 4 sería Dublín. No sé, o sea.
Correct. The
La
whole
2, como usted dice, sería por lo de Venecia.
Exactly.
Por la barquita.
Yes, correct. So, I mean, let's just take this activity as practice for the listening, right? The pronunciation. So just ignore this activity. Just remember that whenever we have countries and cities, there is a different pronunciation. For example, we don't say Guayaquil, it's in Spanish, right? But in English, it's Guayaquil, right? So just remember that, okay? Just ignore this activity at all because it's messed up. Let's close this. I'm going to delete the activity. Now, let me see. I think that somebody was trying to, yes, there we go.
Miss, entonces esa actividad la dejamos ahí, no la terminamos.
Yes, don't do it. Don't do it because it's messed up. I mean, it's incorrect and probably you're gonna get confused. So no, just leave it there, okay? Now, this next activity, you will have to guess basically, okay? I'm gonna tell you why. Next activity, it's 1B. read the article and complete it with the list of cities, okay? So once again, you have the same cities. You have Barcelona, you have Dublin, you have Paris, you have Copenhagen, and you have Venice, okay? So you have two different articles right here. So as usual, I'm gonna ask, let's see, Kevin Solis, can you please read the heading of the article? Only the heading.
All the capital cities are unfriendly, or are they?
Okay, thank you very much, Kevin. Now, let's see, I'm going to ask to Maria de Los Angeles Parra. Can you please read this first paragraph of the article?
Big cities often have a reputation for being rude, unfriendly place for tourists. Sunday Times journalist Tim Moore went to 4 cities, London, Rome, Paris, and New York, to find out if this is true. He went dressed as a foreign tourist and did 3, not very specific, test to see which city had the friendliest and most polite inhabitants. 2-3 tests were.
Okay, thank you very much. So he did 3 tests, right? This guy, this journalist, wants to prove that if capital cities, people are unfriendly. I don't know if you are probably, have you ever been in Quito, right? People says that, I know that Sandra right here is from Quito, but people say that people from Guayaquil, it's warm, right? And right there in Quito, people, it's more like, they even use the word pareca, right? So probably that is proven, the theory that all capital cities are unfriendly. Or are they? This is the question right here, right? So we have 3 tests that this journalist did. I'm gonna ask George Nunez, can you please read the test photo, number 1, the photo test?
Okay. The photo test. Tim asked people in the street to take his photo, not just one photo, but several, with his hat, without his hat, etc. Did he find someone to do it?
Thank you very much. Right here, remember something, guys, the pronunciation of this is fine. Fine, okay? Thank you very much, George. Sandra, can you please go with number 2, the shopping test?
The shopping test. He bought some tie in a shop and gave the shop assistant too much money. Didn't shop assistant guy back the extra money?
Thank you, Sandra. Right here, same thing. The pronunciation of this word, it's give. Give. Okay? And finally, let's go with Maria Llagos. The accident test, please, number 3.
The accident text. Being present to fall over in the circle, the and body come and help
him. Okay, thank you very much, Maria. Now, right here, this is what I was telling you, right? Right here, you will have to take a look because you have the same 5 countries and you have some options right here. But before going into that options, Dayana Moreno, can you please read the heading of this paragraph, of this article? Just the heading.
Travel survey gift is buried on a rapid city.
Correct. Thank you very much. Remember, guys, European. I know that this word is tricky. It's difficult, okay? But just write it down, okay? European. Thank you very much, Diana. Now, Juan Cedeño, can you please read this first paragraph of the article?
London is the dirtiest city in Europe, says a new survey by travel website TripAdvisor, but it has the best public parks and the best nightlife, according to the survey of almost 2,400 travelers.
Okay, thank you very much, Juan. So right here you have the results, apparently, all right? So you have that with one of these countries right here is the most romantic city. One of these countries right here is the cleanest city. Another one has the best dressed people. The next one has the best architecture. And the last one is the friendliest city. Okay, so we don't have basically this information. So right now I'm going to ask you to try to figure it out. Which one do you think is the answer for each of these gaps? Remember, you have the categories: the most romantic, the cleanest, the best dressed, the best architecture, and the friendliest. Remember something that I told you before. You try to go with the answers that you already know, okay? With the, let's say, the easier answer. And then you go with the answers that probably you have some issues, some problems with guessing which one is it, okay? So, look, I have some volunteers, so let's see. Yael, for example, number three, I'm talking about number 3. I think that probably this is the most obvious one. Has the best dressed people. Which one do you think it is?
Paris.
Correct, right? Because that is basically the reputation that Paris has. It's the city where like you have all of those fashions weeks and people goes right there to buy clothes and so on. Okay, so yes, Paris has the best dressed people. Now, let's see the next one. Let's go with the most romantic city. Kenia Miño, according to you, which one of these 4 cities is the most romantic city?
Venice.
Venice, correct, right? It makes sense as well because, you know, you have those gondolas, right? And you go in the water and there is this guy that is singing. So yes, for me, Venice is the right answer as well. Now, let's see. I'm going to go with has the best architecture. Let's see. Scarlett Takuri, according to you, which one of these 3 cities has the best architecture?
Barcelona.
Correct. Great catch, right? Because they have La Sagrada Familia and they have all of those amazing buildings. So great catch. We still have 2 cities pending, Dublin and Copenhagen. And we have the options, the cleanest city and the friendliest city. Okay, so let's see. Analia, according to you, remember, right now we are trying to guess. That is it. For you, Dublin is the cleanest or the friendliest? Just take a shot. Take a guess.
Maybe
the cleanest?
friendliest.
The friendliest, yes.
The friendliest.
Yes, it's the friendliest. I mean, I haven't been in Dublin. I think I haven't. But, you know, that is like the reputation that Dublin has, right? The friendly city and Copenhagen, the cleanest city. So right now, I want that each of you guys notice this structure, right? These sentences. We have the most romantic, the cleanest, the best dressed people, the best architecture, the friendliest city. All of this right here, we are using superlative adjective. That basically is the topic that we are about to cover, okay? Please just notice the answers right here. Venice, Copenhagen, Paris, Barcelona, and Dublin. So before we go into the next activity, I'm going to tell you about this, right? Once again, remember, we have the adjective, and right here, you have this example, right? The adjective, once again, are the ones that describe a noun. In this case, the table is a noun. The table is small is the adjective. My dog now is big is the adjective. My computer, it's the noun, slow is the adjective. So we have three possible forms of adjective. The base form, that is this one right here, small, tall, big, large, short. You can go on with the list. Then you have the comparative form. That is the one that we just checked. Smaller, taller, bigger, shorter, prettier. But we also have the superlative form. That is basically the one that we just checked. The friendliest, the cleanest, the smallest, the tallest. Okay, now let's see how this works. Take a look on the first example. We have Marcus, it's better than Toby. Right here, I'm comparing two people, right? Another sentence is Marcus, it's better than Harry. Once again, I'm comparing two people. I'm comparing Marcus with Toby and Marcus with Harry. Since
Miss.
Marcus, yes.
Disculpe, si puedo reclamar un minuto que me tengo que
Yeah.
cerrar una cosita. Ya, listo.
Yes, go on. Thank you. So, as I was saying, right here, I'm comparing two people, right? I'm saying that Marcus, it's better than Toby, and also Marcus, it's better than Harry, right? So, I'm telling you that, for example, I have a class. Let's say that I have a class with 21 students, with 21 people. And let's say that all of the grades are 9, 8, 7, but Marcus got 10, right? So Marcus, it's the one that goes at the top in that class. Marcus is the best in his class. I'm not comparing Marcus to anybody. I'm saying that he's the one in the top. So right here, you have what is the superlative and when do we use it for. So you have it right here. I'm going to ask you to read the definition. Give me a, okay, there we go. Kevin Sanchez, can you please read the definition of superlative adjective?
Definition?
Yes, this one right here, this 2 lines.
Okay, give me 1 second. We use superlative adjective when we talk about three or more things, not 2 things.
Okay, thank you very much, Kevin. So right here you have this chart, right? That you can basically make a comparison on when do we use comparative adjective and when do we use superlative adjective. So comparative adjective to compare 2 things, 2 objects, 2 places. Superlative adjective to compare 3 or more things. The form, remember, smaller, bigger, taller, more beautiful, more expensive. In the case of a superlative adjective, we end the adjective with est. Prettiest, smallest, tallest, biggest, most expensive, most intelligent, most beautiful, okay? Right here you have some examples. So in the comparison, for comparative adjective, indicates a higher degree. In the superlative adjective, indicates the highest degree. There is no one better. Usage, once again, when compared to things, and superlative adjective, it's when you compare more than 3 things, okay? So let's see, let's continue with this.
Miss,
Yes?
may I go to the bathroom, please?
Yes, go ahead. Thank you, Justin.
Voy a apagar la cámara un ratito y
Okay.
otra vez. Ya.
So there you have the formation of the superlative adjective. So right here, you add est. Remember that in comparative adjective was er, but in this case is est. So instead of saying short, you will say shortest. Corto, el más corto. Long, longest. Largo, el más largo. Big, biggest. Grande, el más grande. This is for short adjective, 2 or less syllables. But whenever we have those long adjectives, remember that in comparative we use more. Right here we use most intelligent, most expensive, most beautiful. And right here, we also add the at the beginning. We say the most expensive, the most intelligent, the most, let's say, beautiful. Okay, let's see some examples similar to the one that we were checking before, right? So right here, I don't have 2 cars. I have 3 cars. And because of that, I'm going to use the superlative adjective. Take a look. This is like the one that it has a higher degree. So car B is the biggest. There is no comparison. My TV is the biggest in my house. Probably I have TV in my parents' bedroom, in the living room, in the kitchen, but mine is the biggest in my house. That is the smallest dog I have ever seen. You were the fastest in the race. My sister is the smartest in her class. So we use the article the and then the superlative adjective. Take a look on these pictures right here. So we have the base adjective, the comparative, and the superlative. Tall, taller, tallest. High, higher, highest. Big, bigger, biggest. Okay, so as usual and similar to the comparative, we also have to follow the similar rule of 1-syllable adjective, 2-syllable adjective, and 3 or more syllables. We also have some irregular verbs. Remember that we have better in comparative, right? But right here it's best. Bad, worse. Worse with T. In comparative, it was worse like this with E, but right here it's words with T. Far, farthest. Okay, and take a look. Right here we have with 3 or more syllable, most expensive, most popular, most confident, most dangerous, most beautiful, most difficult. Okay, so let me delete this. Okay, so with some of the two-syllable adjective, we can either use EST, and with some of them, most. Take a look. With quiet, we can either say the quietest or most quiet. Both forms are valid. Clever, the cleverest or most clever. Once again, both of them are valid. Narrow, the narrowest or the most narrow. Simple, the simplest or most simple. Okay, this is only with some of the two-syllable adjectives. Once again, I'm not expecting that you learn the right way and how to form the adjective for tomorrow, because this takes practice. So we are going to practice right now to have a better idea on how this thing works, okay? Let's see. Let's go with the next activity, Grammar Bank 1A. You have right here the explanation as well. If you want to double check that, just feel free to do it. Okay, so let's see. Elias Castillo, can you please read the instruction?
Okay, Grammar Bank 1A. Complete the sentences with the superlatives.
Correct. Thank you very much, Elias. So right here, as usual, you have an example, right? You have that in brackets, you have the adjective. So right here, it's only superlative, right? Most, an adjective or adjective ending in EST. So the example is this the biggest city in the world? Okay. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes so you can double check this and try to get the right answer. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's go with number 1, Byron Reyes. Number 1, please. Byron, are you there?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, can you please read sentence number 1? The pronunciation of this is Thais. Thais is people from Thailand, right? From Thailand. So this is the nationality from people from Thailand. Okay, so can you please go with number 1, Byron?
Yes. Thais
Thais are, what else?
is real. Polit seeks the best.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the answer? Remember that
Polit people if ever meet.
okay, remember that right now we are right here, right? With the superlative, okay? So just let me tell you something, okay? Just hear me out. In this situation, when we talk about polite, that is the pronunciation, polite, okay? You are going to go with this structure. Most polite, okay? Most polite. So can you please go with the answer? Right here, we are not going to use polite like this. No, we are going to go with most polite. Okay, so Byron, there is still a missing word right here. Can you please tell me what's the missing word? Byron, are you there?
Yes. These are most polite people if ever
Look,
meet.
listen, I'm telling you that the pronunciation of this word is polite. Okay, so it's polite, correct. Now, take a notice that right here, there is a missing word. There is still a missing word right here. What's the missing word? Take a look, Byron. Right here, you said that we also usually add the at the beginning. The best, the most expensive, the most beautiful, the most intelligent. So I'm asking you once again, what's the missing word right here?
The most.
Correct. Can you please read all of the sentence?
The most polite people if ever meet.
Okay, thank you very much, Byron. Now, let's go with Yael Vera. Yael, please, let's go with number 2.
Yesterday was the hottest day of the year.
The hottest day of the year. Notice something, guys. Consonant, vowel, consonant. So we double the consonant, E-S-T. The hottest day of the year. Thank you very much, Yael. Let's see. George Nunez, can you please go with number 3?
This is the most bad time to drive to the city.
No, it's not. Look, bad, it's an irregular adjective. So if you go into the list of the irregular adjective, take a look. You have it right
Worst.
here, right? So
This is the worst city.
correct. This is the worst. What else? Can you please read the rest of the sentence?
Down.
No, we don't use that. No, I was asking you about to read this part. That is for comparative.
Claro. This is the worst most.
Can you please read the rest?
Time to drive to the city.
Correct. Okay, guys, remember that there is something that you need to remember, right? Let me go right here. So whenever you use comparative, I'm going to go with short. Right here, you will say shorter than, right? The word than, it's used right here. But in the superlative, you use the article de. The shortest, E-S-T, okay? Comparative, the use of the word than is mandatory, and in the superlative is the word than. Now let's continue with number 4. Elizabeth Ramirez, please.
Is the friendliest.
Correct. What else?
Girl at school.
Correct. She's the friendliest girl at school. So take a notice right here. This is the base form of the verb because we have a Y. We delete this Y and we replace it with an I. Great catch, Elizabeth. Let's go with number 5, Helen Romo.
Okay. This is the most important part of the exam.
Correct. This is the most important part of the exam. Great catch, Helen. Thank you very much. Let's see.
The most es el más, ¿verdad? El más importante.
Correct. Yes, that is.
Pero ¿en qué ocasiones se la usan? Porque en el anterior yo pensaba que era this is the most worst.
Okay, it doesn't apply basically because as anything in English, we have exceptions, right? Because good is irregular, bad, far, many, little, and far. So for example, right? That is a good question actually. So you can say, let me see once again the example. Okay. So let's say that you have, let me see an example. Okay. Meryl Streep. You want to say that like she's top of the top, right? There's nobody that it's better than her. So Meryl Streep is there is actress, okay? And let's say that you want to say that is good, bad in a superlative way. Okay. So right here, if you want to say that Meryl Streep, it's probably one of the best actors in all the times, right? So right here, you go, and because you are asking with the adjective good, and you can see that whenever we're talking about superlative, you go with the regular adjective, you go with the structure, the best actress. That's it. right? You don't go with the most best actress because best, it's already doing its job, right? So another example, some as the one that you are saying right there. Let's say something, olives, aceitunas are, and I mean, I don't like aceitunas, so I'm going to say this. So right here, because that is an irregular adjective, I'm not going to say de bares. No, that doesn't exist. That is incorrect because we have the answer right here. We say is the worst food ever. Once again, we don't say the most worst food ever because worst, it's already doing its job, okay? Olive adds the words food ever. A la final, esto es súper común, que siempre hasta en los cuadernos, creo que hasta los pandilleros ponen en la calle Emelec the best, or Barcelona the best, right? So basically they're saying that there is nobody else like on the top that Emelec or Barcelona, right? So because of that, don't ever do this. That is incorrect. The most best, no, that is incorrect, okay? Now let's continue with the next one. We have number 6, Paulette Castillo. I don't know if you're there, but I cannot see your face. Paulette Castillo.
Sí, estoy aquí.
Okay, I don't understand what is happening. Okay, right now I'm seeing your face. Can you please? Okay, thank you very much. Can you please go with number 6?
Yo mismo.
Yes, please, number 6.
I'm not, estoy muy segura, pero
I just explained this example like 2 minutes ago. The Meryl Streep example was related with this. Good is an irregular adjective, so you have to go with that one.
It's good time to visit New England. It's autumn.
Okay, remember that we are talking about a superlative, right? So you just have to go with the structure that we have been checking in the past half an hour, right? For example, you say, my TV is the biggest, that is the smallest, you were the fastest, my sister is the smartest, right? I was mentioning, again, 2 minutes ago, I was explaining this verb, this adjective, that good, it's an irregular adjective. So we don't say the goodest, we go with best. So I say that Meryl Streep is the best actress. So right here, you have the adjective good, and you have time to visit New England is autumn. Autumn is a season, such as winter, such as summer, right? So once again, how would you do this one? It's Castillo.
The best time
The
to
best means correct. The best, what else? The best time? Can you please continue?
The best times
No, I'm sorry, Paulette, go ahead you, please. Number 6, the best time, what else?
The best time to visit New England is autumn.
Correct. Thank you very much, Paulette. So once again, Aldair, I'm not seeing your camera. Ricardo, I'm not seeing your camera. And Justin, I'm not seeing your camera. Ricardo, are you there? Okay, let's go with number 7. Omar Tomala, can you please go with number 7?
Yes, teacher. Ulaanbaatar is one of the most polluted cities in the world.
Correct. The most polluted, right? Right here we're talking about that is a 3-syllable word. So because of that, we use the most. Thank you very much, Omar. Now let's see. Scarlett, can you please go with number 8?
Miss,
Yes.
sí puedo ponerme unas gafas, es que me levanté con conjuntivitis.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. As long as you are in the session, it doesn't matter.
Gracias.
Okay. Scarlett, so can you
Yeah.
number 8?
The farthest I've ever found is to Bali.
Correct. Remember that far, it's irregular, right? If you go to the list right here, you're gonna see that far, it's farthest, right? So that is a great catch. Thank you very much, Scarlett. So you will go with the, I'm sorry. In this case, remember that it is valid either to say farther or furthest. But since we are learning British English, we are going to write it with you, the furthest, okay? Once again, this is valid as well, but this is American English. This is British English. Let's see. Cristel Saldarriaga, can you please go with number 9?
Yeah. That's definitely the funniest film I've ever seen.
Correct. That is definitely the funniest film I ever seen. So right here we have the adjective funny and ends with Y. So we replace this with an I. Great catch. Thank you very much, Cristel. And let's conclude this with Gianna Sanchez. Please, number 10, Gianna.
All flowers are all pretty, but I think Emily is the prettiest.
Correct. Same thing, right? We have pretty and we replace that Y with an I-E-S-T, the prettiest. Okay, guys, please double check your answers. We only have less than 1 minute left. And let's go with the next activity that is also related with grammar, okay? But this is related with superlative and it's also related with present perfect. Before you go with the activity, remember that we already checked the tense present perfect, right? If you go to your notes, you go and you scroll up. Okay, you are probably going to remember that we were checking this form, right? Present perfect. That I told you that we use this for an action that is in the past, but we are not saying when this action took place. I have been to Australia. I have lived in Toronto for 2 years. This is something that is still happening, right? Yo he estado en Australia, yo he vivido en Toronto por los últimos 2 años. So that is present perfect. Remember the structure. The structure is the subject plus the auxiliary, either have or has, depending on, the subject plus the auxiliary depending on the subject, right? It can either be have or has. For example, right here, I have, you have, he has, she has, we have, they have, right? And I also told you that the kind of verb that we use in these sentences, in this tense, it's the V3 verb form, right? Remember that we have indefinite, we also have past tense, and we also have the past participle. Let me just go to the list if you want to double check the list. Right here you have the list, right? This is the verb form that we will use in this tense. Remember, we all just check this. This is only me telling you what is the deal with this, right? So this is the kind of verbs that we will be using. Now, before we go into the activity, I'm gonna tell you something, and let's say an example, an exercise that we can use with this type of tenses. I'm scrolling down. Remember that you also have access to this. Okay. Take a look. This is only an example. This is only a question. What's the best film or movie you have ever seen? Just think this through, okay? Think and answer. Because for me, this is my personal opinion, the best films I have ever seen, it's The Devil Wears Prada. Of course, that is why I was mentioning Meryl Streep. I'm a really big fan of Meryl Streep. The best film that I have ever seen is Interstellar. Christopher Nolan is the director, and Batman and the Dark Knight. Okay, those are my favorite films, like, ever. So notice the structure. The best film, right? I'm talking about that I'm choosing one of these. I have ever seen is la mejor película que jamás he visto. I have ever seen is. So right here, I'm using present perfect, and I'm also using the superlative, okay? So take a look. Batman is the best movie that I have ever seen. Notice the expression ever. Ever means en todos los tiempos, que jamás he visto, right? T-bone steak is the best meat I have ever eaten. Notice that I'm using the V3 verb form. This is the worst book that I have ever read. She's the nicest teacher same thing that I will say in this, I have ever had. Or I can also say that I have ever met. We can also switch the order of the sentences. I can say the best movie that I have ever seen is Batman. Notice that it's basically the same thing, but I'm leaving Batman at the end. The best meat that I have ever eaten is T-bone steak. The worst book that I have ever read is this book. The nicest teacher I have ever met is her. So remember that the word that is optional. So right here, I can either use that or I can either don't use it. The worst book I have ever read is this book, okay? So I'm telling you this because the next activity is related with this structure. So the activity is Grammar Bank 1B. Please click in the activity so we can practice this.
Mis disculpe, tal vez creo que me puedo habilitar esa. Es que hace rato me confundí y abrí esa sin querer. Ya, gracias.
I think that even though you have 2 attempts, but anyway, I'm going to delete the first attempt. Okay, and then it's this one right. Okay, take a look, right? You have all of these words and it is your duty to write the sentence with the superlative form of the adjective plus ever plus present verb. Notice the example. It is the subject, good film. Good right here is the adjective. So that means that I will have to make it superlative. I see. Subject, and right here you have the verb that you need to turn into present perfect. So take a look. It's the best film I've ever seen. Notice that you need to use contractions. No full form, contractions. So right here we have it, hot country, I'll be too. So I'm asking you, all of you, which one of all of these words is the adjective? The adjective.
Hot.
Hot, correct. So hot is the adjective that I need to turn superlative. So remember that hot, we have consonant, vowel consonant, it's gonna be another consonant, EST. Remember that also we will have to say the hottest, okay? We already know this, the hottest. Now, we have it's the hottest, right? It's the hottest. Then we have country. Country, it's the noun, right? Country. And right now, I need to go with this structure. We have the subject, I. With I, do I have to use have or has? Have, correct, have. So we use have, but since we need to go with the contraction, we will go I've, and let's see. We have ever, because that is the structure, and be is an irregular verb. So if we go right here, you're gonna see that it's be, was, were, and the past participle, it's been. So we have, it's the hottest country I have ever been to, because we have two right here. Okay, that is the dynamic of the exercise. Okay, so I do have volunteers. Let's see with the volunteers. Yael Vera. Okay, first of all, Yael, hear me out. Okay, hear my question. Yael, we have she, unfriendly, person, I meet. Which one of all of these words is the adjective?
She, the unfriendliest.
Okay. Notice, please, Yael, listen to my question. Listen to my question. Which one of all of these words is the adjective?
Friendly.
Yes, correct. So we have, look, unfriendly, 3 syllables, right? So because of that, you go with the most unfriendly, right? The most unfriendly. Okay, Yael, how would you do the sentence? Can you please tell me?
Is the most friendly
Okay.
person
What else?
I have ever met.
Correct. Great pronunciation. Remember, this is met and this is meet. Okay. Thank you very much, Yael. Now, let's go with Elizabeth Ramirez. We have it, easy, exam, he, do. So my question for you, Elizabeth, which one is the adjective?
It's
easy, correct. Okay, we have easy, right? Easy. Okay, so easy. It's the easy. It's the correct. It's the ECS in this
Exam is his ever
ever done, correct. Because if you go to the list and you go to letter D, you're gonna check that it's do, did, done. Okay, great job, Elizabeth. Thank you very much. Maria Llagos, number 4, please.
They're the most expensive tours.
Okay. I'm sorry. Can
I've ever bought.
Correct. They're the most expensive trousers. Remember, trousers are pants. Same thing, but British English. The most expensive trousers I've ever bought. Thank you very much, Maria. Let's continue with Camila Santa Cruz, number 5.
It's the longest film I've ever watched.
Correct. It's the longest film I've ever watched. This is a regular verb, so we only add ed. Thank you very much. Camila. Helen Romo, number 6.
He is the most attractive man I have ever seen.
Correct. He is the most attractive man I've ever seen. Once again, this is an irregular verb. If you go to the list, you're going to notice that is see, saw, seen. Okay, let's see. Thank you very much, Helen. Great catch. Aldair Zambrano, number 7, please.
All the sentence or adjective?
The whole sentence. The whole sentence.
It's the worst meal I've ever eaten.
Correct. This is an irregular one, right? It's the worst meal I've ever. How do you pronounce this?
Eating.
Correct. Eaten, right? Once again, if you guys go to the list, you're gonna notice that is an irregular verb. Eat, ate, eaten. Thank you very much, Aldair. Number 8, let's continue with Sandra Santin.
He is the most interesting teacher I have ever had.
Correct. He is the most there you go. The most interesting teacher I have ever had. There you go. And let's go with the last one, number 9, Cristel Diaz.
It's the most exciting job I've ever done.
Correct. Is the most exciting job. Right here we have we, right? We've ever done. Okay, there you go. Okay, guys. So before we can continue, I'm gonna pass the attendance. So please, let's do this as quick as possible so we can continue, okay? Yanela Costa.
Yes, Miss.
Thank you. No, I'm passing the attendance. Frank Salmache. Isabel Almeida.
Here.
Thank you, Isabel. Mónica Añasco.
Here.
Thank you, Mónica. Judith Avilés.
Here.
Thank you, Judith. Diana Cañizares. Elías Castillo.
Here.
Thank you, Elías. Paulette Castillo.
Here, Miss.
Thank you, Paulette. Juan Cedeño.
Here.
Thank you. Kevin Cruz.
Here.
Thank you. Nancy Cruz.
Here, teacher.
Thank you, Nancy. Cristel Díaz.
Here.
Thank you, Cristel. Melanie Huarco.
Here.
Thank you, Melanie. Jorge Jara. Álvaro Lara.
Here, Miss.
Thank you. Jessica Lima. Jessica Lima. Kenia Miño.
Here, Miss.
Thank you, Kenia. Andrea Molina. Andrea Molina. Dayana Moreno.
Here, Miss.
Thank you, Dayana. George Núñez.
Here, Miss.
Thank you, George. María de Los Ángeles Parra.
Here, Miss.
Thank you, María de Los Ángeles. Elizabeth Ramírez.
Here, Miss.
Thank you. Byron Reyes.
Here, Miss. Aquí estoy.
Byron. Cristel Saldarriaga.
Hi.
Thank you, Cristel. Helen Romo.
Hi, Miss.
Thank you, Helen. Sebastián Rodríguez.
Here, Miss.
Thank you, Sebastián. Jana Sánchez.
Here, Miss.
Thank you. Kevin Sánchez. Kevin Sánchez.
Here.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Camila Santa Cruz. Camila Santa Cruz. Sandra Santín.
Here, teacher.
Thank you, Sandra. No, this is Kevin, I'm sorry. Sandra Ricardo Sobrevilla. Thank you, Ricardo. Kevin Solís.
Here, Miss.
Thank you, Kevin. Scarlett Takuri.
Here, Miss.
Thank you, Scarlett. Omar Tomalá.
Here, Miss.
Thank you. Daniela Vélez.
Here, Miss.
Thank you, Daniela. Yael Vera.
Here, Miss.
Thank you. Marcela Villegas. Marcela Villegas. María Llagos.
Hi, Miss.
Thank you, María. Aldair Zambrano.
Here,
Ah,
Miss.
Thank you, Aldair. Justin Zamora.
Here, Miss. Miss, yo ayer sí estuve toda la clase y tengo ahí falta.
A ver, Justin, te explico algo. Las clases, ¿verdad? Si yo te di la apertura para que igual estés conectado y todo, pero no estuviste con la
Sí.
cámara encendida. Por eso te estoy poniendo 2 justificaciones y 2 asistencias.
Ok. Thank you.
Ok.
Miss,
Ajá.
soy Santa Cruz, disculpe, es que fui a arreglar un problema.
Ok. Thank you. Okay, guys. Let's continue with... Yes.
Disculpe, es que ahí ajusté cero. Era en el ejercicio que o sea, me restaron puntos porque en la primera yo puse una coma,
Ok.
que es constraint ahí va la coma, ever been to.
Sí, está incorrecto configurado. Ya lo voy a revisar, ¿sí? Porque asumo que no es solamente tu escenario, sino el de otros, ¿ok?
Gracias.
Thank you for letting me know.
Sí, mi, es verdad, porque
Ajá.
hay full errores y se copió tal y como estaba.
Mhm. Yes, yes. Thank you for letting me know. Let me write the exercise down. That is grammar bank 1B. Okay. Now, let's go with the pronunciation, guys. Okay, this is the pronunciation section. So the activity that we will develop right now, it's in the pronunciation section, word and sentence stress. 2A, please. Sebastián Rodríguez, can you please read the instruction?
Choose the stress syllable in the bold adjectives.
Correct. Thank you very much. So right here, take a look, right? You, of course, have some questions. But right here, what you need to do is that you will find the syllables, right? But you need to try to identify which one is the one that goes the stress syllable. For example, you have beautiful, right? Beautiful. So which one do you think the stress syllables goes into? View or the full?
View.
View, correct, okay? So right now, you are going to go to do this. You are going to do the exact same thing that I'm doing. Repeat the word, the adjective, and you are going to try to decide in which one of these syllables goes the stress, okay? I'm going to give you 3 minutes for this, and of course, after that, we will check the answer.
Sí.
Spa.
Okay.
Okay, I do have some volunteers, so, okay, Sandra, according to you, which one is the stress syllable?
Is view.
Yeah, the first one it's already done. So what about number 2?
Ah, yeah. Thank
Correct. Expensive, right? Expensive. Thank you very much, Sandra. Great job. Let's see, Helen Romo, what about the next one? Which one is the stress syllable?
Pa.
Correct. Impatient, right? That is the correct one. Thank you very much. Great job, Helen. So, once again, Paulette, I'm not able to see you. Paulette Castillo. Paulette, I'm not able to see you, Paulette. Please, I need to see you. It's basically the same thing as you are not turning on your camera. Okay, Daniela Vélez, according to you, what's the stress syllable in number 4? Your microphone is mute.
Yeah, is Rose, creo.
No, it's not. Listen to my pronunciation and you try to tell, okay? Generous. So which one do you think it is? Generous. Correct. Generous. Correct. Thank you very much, Daniela. Now, Maria Llagos, what about number 5?
Yo la próxima.
Okay, give me a second because somebody has his microphone on. And I was not able to hear you properly. Okay, Maria, you were saying, so which one do you think is the correct answer? This one? Yes, it's frightening. Frightening. So frightening, it's basically a similar word to scary, like something that provokes you horror, right? Frightening. Thank you very much, Maria. Let's go with number 6. Scarlett Takuri. What about number 6?
Sí.
This one right here or this one right here? Number 2 or number 3?
2.
2, correct. Excited. Excited. Thank you very much, Scarlett. Cristel Diaz, number 7. Which one?
Number 2.
Number 2. I mean, that is usually the mistake, but hear me out, okay? Hear my pronunciation. Interesting. Interesting. So which one do you think it is?
Me.
Correct. It's the first one. The stress syllable goes in the first one. Interesting. Thank you very much, Cristel. And finally, let's go with Jael Vera. What about the last one? Number 8.
En man.
Man, correct. It's romantic. Romantic. Now that you already know, please listen to the pronunciation. What's the most beautiful city you've ever been to? Please listen because I'm going to ask you to repeat and read the sentences. The questions, I'm sorry. What's the most expensive thing you've ever bought? Who's the most impatient person you know? Who's the most generous person in your family? What's the most frightening film you've ever seen? What's the most exciting sport you've ever done? What's the most interesting book you've read recently? Right here is no R, it's T. Recently. Recently. So remember, right here it's interesting. No interesting. Interesting. What's the most romantic restaurant you've ever been to? So, Byron Reyes, can you please read question number 1?
What's the most beautiful view and city you'd be ever been to?
Okay, thank you very much, Byron. Justin Zamora, number 2, please. Don't read this, just read the sentence.
What's the most expensive thing things you have ever bought?
So right here is you've. No, you have, because it's a contraction. Okay. Thank you very much, Justin. Okay, guys, please just read the question. Don't read the syllable that it's supposed to be stressed. Okay, only the the question. Now, let's see. Alvaro Lara, can you please read number 3?
Who is the most important person you know?
Thank you, Alvaro. Right here, the pronunciation is impatient. Impatient. And the opposite of impatient is patient. Nancy Cruz, can you please read number 4?
Who the most generous person in your family?
Correct. Who's the most generous person in your family? Thank you, Nancy. Let's continue with Dayana Moreno, number 5.
What is the most frightening field you've ever seen?
Correct. Thank you very much, Diana. Let's go with number 6. Let's see. Kevin Cruz, number 6, please.
What's ahí sí no sé cómo se-
It's there. This is a mistake. Right here, it's there. Instead of the C, it's an E.
Yeah, what's the most exciting? Sí, ¿verdad? Yeah. What's the most exciting sport you've ever done?
Thank you very much. So I want to tell you something, guys. You are seeing a lot of mistakes because basically Alfonso Gutierrez, he's the one that is on charge to basically put all of this book that you are seeing right here. What he has to do is go to put it in the mural. So he's the one typing. And you know, it's a lot of things. There are 6 different levels. So of course that sometimes there are gonna be mistakes, right? So for example, after we're done this, I can correct this, right? Pero consideren que Alfonso es el que pasa todo este material de todos los libros y obviamente cuando uno tipea algo por ahí se le va a ir otra letra que no es. Okay, so that is why you keep seeing some of these mistakes. Let's go with number 7. Omar Tomala, can you please go with number 7?
What the most interesting book you've read?
Recently.
Yes.
This is another
Es
mistake.
que también está mal escrito.
Yes, right here instead of the R, we have to use a T. So once again, you already know what's the deal with this. And number 8, Maria Parra Flores, please go with number 8.
What's the most romantic restaurant you've ever been to?
Correct, great pronunciation. Thank you very much. And now let's go to the next activity. Okay, this next activity, it involves some cardinal points. You know, in this point, you're gonna know what I'm referring to. Okay, let me check. Okay, no, this is not the next one. First of all, let's do this one right here. Number 4, listening, okay? So we have a listening activity that it's going to be related to this test. Remember that we already read this. So right here, you are going to basically listen to the results of this test, okay? So, Isabel Almeida, can you please read the instruction?
Listen to Tim Moore talking about what happened in London. How well does London do in each test?
Okay, thank you very much. So basically, you will, first of all, remember that you have to understand the prompt. That is the first thing to do. Then take a look on the possible answers, right? Not very well, that means that bad, and very well means good, right? And right here you have the possible options. You have to notice how was the result on the photo test, on the shopping test, and on the accident test. So let's listen to the audio.
2.45. First, I did the photo test. I was near Charing Cross Station. I stopped a man who was walking quite slowly down the road, and I said, "Excuse me, could you take my photo?" The man said, "No time for that," and just continued walking. Then I asked a businessman in a grey suit who was walking towards the station. He took one photo, but when I asked him to take another one, he walked away quickly. Next, it was the shopping test. I went to a tourist shop in Oxford Street, and I bought a key ring and a red bus. The red bus was very expensive. The total price was £40. I gave the man £100. He gave me £60 back. Finally, it was time for the accident test. For this test, I went down into the Tube, the London Underground. As I went down the stairs, I fell over and sat on the floor. A man immediately stopped and looked down at me. I thought he was going to help me, but he didn't. He just said, "Why don't you look where you're going?"
Okay, there you go, okay? So right now, we are going to try to identify how well was this experiment in the part of the photo test, okay? So let's listen, and after that, you are going to tell me your answer about this.
2.45. First, I did the photo test.
Okay, so right there, we are going to hear the photo test, okay? Let's listen.
I was near Charing Cross Station. I stopped a man who was walking quite slowly down the road, and I said, "Excuse me, could you take my photo?" The man said, No time for that," and just continued walking. Then I asked a businessman in a grey suit who was walking towards the station. He took one photo, but when I asked him to take another one, he walked away quickly. Next, it was the shopping test.
Okay, so Ricardo Sobrevilla, how do you think the photo test went? Not very well or very well?
Very well.
Okay, so Ricardo, I'm sorry, yes, Ricardo Sobrevilla said very well. So Kenya, according to you, do you agree with Ricardo? It's very well or not very well?
Not very well.
Not very well. Okay, can you try to explain why? Why not very well? Can you please try to explain why? Kenya, can you please tell me why did you choose this answer? No? Okay. So anybody would like to tell me why it's not very well? Juan.
Because the people say that they don't have time.
Correct. Correct. Because people were rude, right? People were saying, no time for that. And they just run away. Let's listen, okay?
I was near Charing Cross Station. I stopped a man who was walking quite slowly down the road.
I stopped a man and he was just walking, right? Just walking the street. Let's listen.
and I said, "Excuse me, could you take my photo?"
And he asked the man, "Excuse me, could you take my photo?" Right? He was asking to take the photo. And listen to the man's answer.
The man said, "No, no, no time for that."
So the man was like, no, don't time. I don't have any time for that, right? So he was kind of rude.
And just continued walking. Then I asked a businessman in a grey suit.
So he asked another man, this different man, he was a businessman. Probably he works in a corporation, in an institution, who knows? And he was wearing a suit, you know, a suit with a tie.
Who was walking towards the station. He took one photo, but when I
So this businessman took only one photo.
asked him to take another one, he walked away quickly.
So then Tim Moore asked, "Please, can you take another picture of me?" And this man ignored him and just walked away. So because of that, the photo test did not went very well. Okay, let's hear the shopping test.
Next, it was the shopping test. I went to a tourist shop in Oxford Street and I bought a key ring and a red bus. The red bus was very expensive. The total price was £40. I gave the man £100. He gave me £60 back. Finally, it was time for the accident test.
Okay, so let's see. Sebastián Rodriguez, according to you, how was the shopping test? Not very well or very well? Sebastián, are you there? Can you hear me? Camila Santa Cruz, according to you, the shopping test, not very well or very well?
I think that is very well.
Very well, right? Can you please try to explain why? Like in your own words, you don't have to go exactly as you heard this on the audio. In your own words, why do you think the shopping test went very well? Okay, I'm gonna repeat the audio, right? And you all gonna try to understand this better. Okay, let me make it slow.
But when I asked him to take another one, the shopping test. I went to a tourist shop in Oxford Street and I bought a key ring and a red bus.
So he went as a tourist to buy some souvenirs, right? Some presents. And he said that he bought a key ring and a red bus. I mean, this is not a red bus, this is a train. But just remember that in England, there are those like really big red buses that they are taking tourists around the Big Ben, the London Bridge, right? Let me show you because I'm pretty sure that you know what I'm talking about. Red bus, England. These are the red buses in England, right? This is what he bought, and he also bought a key ring. Let's hear.
The red bus was very expensive. The total price was £40.
So he said that that red bus was very expensive. The total price was £40, right? Remember that in England, they use pounds. We use dollars, they use pounds.
I gave the man £100. He gave me £60 back.
So he paid for the bus, right? He paid with a 100 pounds and he received like the change, right? El vuelto, $60. So that's why, I mean, there was no news, there was nothing weird when he was buying. So that's why the shopping test was very well, okay? Let's hear the last one. The last one is the accident test.
Finally, it was time for the accident test. For this test, I went down into the Tube, the London Underground. As I went down the stairs, I fell over and sat on the floor. A man immediately stopped and looked down at me. I thought he was going to help me, but he didn't. He just said, "Why don't you look where you're going?"
Okay, so Gianna, what do you think about the accident test? Did it go not very well or very well?
Not very well because he said a man saw him and didn't help.
Correct, he just looked down, right? He saw him and that was it. So not very well, okay? Great job, Gianna, thank you very much. I'm gonna replay the last part so we can comprehend what Gianna just said, okay?
On the floor. Tube, the London Underground. As I went down the stairs, I fell over and sat on the floor.
So basically, he was about to take like the subway, right? Those things that are on the ground. So he was taking the stairs, right? And he like basically faked that he fell off. So he was on the floor. Notice that you can even hear the sound.
A man immediately stopped and looked down at me.
So a man immediately saw him and looked down at him like this, right?
I thought he was going to help me, but he didn't. He just said,
So he was like, okay, this man is about to help me, but this man didn't help him at all. He just said, do you know where you are going? And that is it, okay? So that's why the accident test did not go very well, okay? So not very well, and once again, not very well. Let's move on into the next activity. And this is the one I was telling you about, right? Into the vocabulary, okay? We are going to do these last 3 activities and then we are gonna be done with today's class, okay? So if you want to be free as soon as possible, let's try to do this activity quickly. So this is what I was telling you about, because right now we are going to need some vocabulary related to the, let me show you right here. This, the cardinal points, okay? This is not a topic, but anyway, I'm giving you some of the names, the proper names whenever you want to refer to the cardinal points, right? So you have the north, you have the south, west, and east. And the thing that allows you to know the cardinal points is a compass, right? So remember, north, south, west, east. And of course, we have some additional points, right? Whenever we want to be even more precise. Between the north and the northwest and the west, you have the northwest. Between the north and the east, you have the northeast. Between the south and the east, you have the southeast. And between the west and the south, you have the southwest, okay? So this is something that I'm telling you because right here, you will need to identify something. Notice. Right here you have London. Right here you have the cardinal points and its abbreviations. You have this. Reading is like a small town close to London. Not reading that, yes, I'm reading this book. No, that is the name of the actual town. And right here you have a river, right? So right here you're asking, take a look. I'm going to ask somebody to read this. Byron Reyes, can you please read the description, the instruction?
Yes, look at the map. Read the description of reading and choose the correct word or phrase.
Correct. Thank you very much. So right here, take a look. This is basically like a paragraph, right? That is describing this graphic, this map. So you have reading, take a look. We're talking about reading is a town in the, and you either have the options south or north. So we have that is in the south of north of England. So England is right here and reading it's below England. Which one do you think is the correct answer? South or north?
South.
South, correct, right? Because right here you even have the compass, right? Like the cardinal points. North, south, west, east. If this one is London and England, right? Reading it's below, so you can say that is in the south of England. Now, then you have on the south coast or river towns. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to try to get the right answer for each gaps, okay? Just try to analyze the picture. Just try to understand what right here is being said, okay? Let's have 2 minutes for this. Okay, Jael, so can you please hear me out? Listen to me. Read this whole thing, like from reading until the right option right here. Yael?
Reading is a town in the south
Uh-huh.
of
Continue.
England
Uh-huh.
on the River Thames.
Correct. River Thames. Correct. Great catch. Great pronunciation. Thank you very much, Yael. Now, do I have any volunteer for the next part? Right here we have, it is about 40 miles, and we have either the option east or west of London. I do have Scarlett. Can you please read from it until London with the right option?
It is about 14 miles west of London.
Correct. Great catch. Thank you very much, Scarlett. Do I have the last volunteer for this? Okay, Jana, go ahead. Go with the last one and of course with the right answer.
It is a small town and it has a population of about 250,000.
Correct, 250,000.
250,000. It is famous for its music festival, which is one of the biggest in the UK.
Okay, which was the option you choose? Medium size, small, or large?
Small.
I mean, for me, it's also a small, but the right answer apparently is large because, I mean, I don't know. It seems like it's in a small town, but, you know, the right answer is large, okay? It is a large town and it has a population about 250,000, okay? So those are the answers, guys. Thank you very much. Let's continue with the next one. We still have 2 activities to go and then you guys are good to go. So look, no, remember this is something that I'm telling you right now because something like this content, like this activity, you will find in your final test, okay? You will find something like this. Okay, so let's see. Sebastián Rodriguez, can you please read the instruction?
Vocabulary Bank 2B. Match the adjectives and sentences 1 to 6. Match these adjectives with their opposites.
Opposite, yes, it's opposites.
Opposites.
Correct. Thank you very much, Sebastián. So look, these are the possible adjectives that you have. Modern, dangerous, dangerous, empty, empty, quiet, no quiet, quiet, exciting, exciting, crowded, crowded, old, safe, noisy, clean, polluted, boring. Okay, so right here, take a look. Match the adjective and sentences 1 to 6. Match the adjective with their opposites. And right here, you have 6 different sentences that are related with the adjective and the opposite. Okay, so let's have 2 minutes so you can have the right answers and then we check yours. Okay, Juan Cedeño, you are going to read the sentence and then you are going to tell me the adjective and the opposite.
There are a lot of bars and clubs with loud music.
Okay.
Adjective, noisy, opposite, quiet.
Correct. Noisy and quiet. Correct. Great job, Juan. It's Melanie Huarco, number 2. Same thing.
The air is very dirty. The adjective is polluted and the opposite is clean.
Correct. Polluted and clean. This one right here. There we go. And this one is white. Okay, thank you very much, Melanie. Maria Llagos, number 3, please.
There are too many people. Crowd, trend.
Correct. Crowded and empty. Crowded and empty. There we go. Thank you very much. Okay, George Núñez, Ricardo Sobrevilla, your cameras. Ricardo, I already took you out before. Okay, so Ricardo, can you please go with number 4? Ricardo Sobrevilla, can you please read sentence number 4 and the adjective and the opposite?
The building were all built quite recent. I don't know.
Okay, you were not doing, as I assume that you were not doing the activity. Okay, let's see. Nancy Cruz, number 4, please.
The buildings were or built quite recently. The adjective is modern and the opposite is old.
Correct. Thank you very much. So the pronunciation of this is building.
Building.
Buildings. Correct. This one right here, built. Look, that is similar to this. Building, built, quite recent. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm sorry.
Building.
Okay, go ahead, George.
A ver, there is nothing to do exciting y opposite boring.
Okay, look, you got it like all backwards, because if there is nothing to do, the correct adjective for this is boring. You are boring when you don't have nothing to do, right? You don't have any activity to do, so that is boring. And the opposite, it's going to be exciting, okay? Now, the last one, I'm going to ask Sandra Santin, please, number 6.
Dangerous says.
Can you, yes, but can you read the sentence, please?
Okay. You have to be careful, especially at night. Dangerous says.
Yes, this is basically the definition of Guayaquil, right? You have to be careful, especially at night. So please, guys, click into the finish button and let's go to the last activity. Okay, the last activity, it's also related to vocabulary. It's this one right here. Vocabulary Bank 3A. This is the last one. With this, will be done for the day. Okay, so take a look on the instructions. Analia, can you please read the instruction?
Put the words in the right column in alphabetical order.
Correct. Thank you very much, Analia. So look, alphabetical order. So you need to go A, B, C, D, E, okay, in order to have the right answer. Now, right here you have some vocabulary related to tourist places, to destinies. You have church, right? A church right here, like in la Universidad Católica, we have a church, right? It's where you go and you pray to God, right? That is a church. Market, statue, the Statue of the Liberty in United States, in New York, a Statue of Liberty. Town hall, basically town hall is where Aquiles Alvarez is now working, right? That is town hall. Palace. We do have kind of a palace right here, el Palacio de Cristal, but I don't think that it applies as a palace. Temple. Cathedral. Department store. Castle. Shopping center. Museum. Mosque. Okay, that is the pronunciation of this. No mosque, no mosque, mosque. Okay, so put the words in the right column in alphabetical order. Each of these words, they are either religious buildings, place where you can buy things, or historic buildings. Okay, so right here, I already have some volunteers. I'm going to give you 1 minute so you can check which one of this goes in each category. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, so I'm going to repeat the pronunciation for each of them so you can remember this when you will tell me the answers. Church, market, statue, town hall, palace, temple, cathedral, department store, castle, shopping center, museum, and mosque. So let's see, I have some hands. Scarlett Takuri. So can you please tell me in the right order which of all of these terms, words, goes in the religious buildings?
Cathedral, church, mosque, temple.
Correct. Great pronunciation. Mosque and temple. Correct. There we go. Let's see. Nancy Cruz. Places where you can buy things.
Okay. Department store, market, and shopping center.
Correct. Shopping center. There you go. And finally, historic buildings and monuments. Sandra Santin.
Castle, museum.
Listen, Sandra. Castle, like this. Castle. That is the pronunciation, okay?
Castle.
Correct. Go ahead. What's the next one?
Museum.
Correct.
Statue.
There is one missing. A statue. A statue goes right here. Right here, there is one missing.
Statue, town hall.
Town hall, yes, but still we have one missing right here. Which one it is? This one?
Place.
Palace.
Palace.
Palace, correct. Okay, so please guys, check your answers because they need to be on the right order. Otherwise, you're not gonna have the right answers, okay?
Sí, mi ahorita me acaba de pasar que me lo puse en orden y me puso mal todo.
Yeah, I mean, I told this and even Analia read it. I already explained this. So you need to pay attention, guys, because probably in the final quiz, you're gonna get some instructions like this, okay? So the first thing that you need to do before you go any activity is understand the instruction, okay? Now, okay, guys, we're going to be done with the class, but before, let me tell you about this activity, okay? You will have to do this. I mean, give me a second because I need to set this up. Okay, this is a writing activity, okay? Not a big deal, similar to the email arranges that you just did before. So right here, you will describe where you live. Write a description of the place where you live. So right here, you have some more instructions. Write a 100-word paragraph. Look, 100 words. I'm not telling you 52 words, 20 words, 100 words paragraph describing the place where you live. You can either describe your city. If you live in Babahoyo, you can describe how Babahoyo is. If you live in Quito, you can describe how Quito is, or you can describe your neighborhood. If you live on Los Esteros, describe Los Esteros. If you live in Los Ceibos, describe Los Ceibos, okay? You can either go with the city or the neighborhood. Now, double check your grammar and spelling, please. Do not forget about this. And do not forget to reach the minimum length required, 100 words. So you will be able to do this until next Friday, December the 1st, okay? So you don't have to upload any file, no file. Let me, give me a second. Okay, I'm gonna add a different one. Give me a second because this is not giving me the option. I'm gonna add it right here. Okay, I'm going to hide this activity so you don't get confused. Let me hide this one. Okay, I'm gonna hide it right now. And right now you're not gonna be able to see it anymore. So the one that you actually will have to develop will be right here in the main section of the Moodle platform. Just below the present perfect worksheet, right here you have describe where you live, the exact same thing that I told you before, but it's not gonna be inside the unit, but right here. So you don't have to upload any file. You will write in the Moodle platform. I'm gonna add this as well. Do not upload any additional file. Just write in the Moodle platform. Okay. And another thing that I have to mention, this is part of the project grading that 20%. Okay, guys. So that is the only activity that you will have to do until next week. There is no further activity. Do you have any questions? Okay, so just a friendly reminder, guys. Ricardo, Ricardo, I have been mentioning about your camera like the whole time. So remember that I told this that please, I'm still talking. So please, I ask you in the most kind way, turn on your camera, okay? This is a friendly reminder to please tell you about Alticia. Remember that this is also an important part of your progress. So please try to go and try to do some activities in this. Any other questions before you guys can leave? No? Okay. So I see you next week. Okay, guys? Thank you very much and have an amazing weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, see
you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
No se olvide de reactivar la actividad, por favor, en la que salía error, la de Grammar Bank 1B. Porque esa salía error cuando salía con la coma.
Ah, ok. Listo. Ya ahorita la reviso. Ok.
Ya. Gracias.